Jack's magical underwater adventure with the mermaid fairy. Once upon a time, in a far-off land, there was a little boy named Jack. Jack lived with his parents in a small cottage on the edge of a beautiful meadow. He loved nothing more than spending his days running through the meadow, chasing butterflies, and playing with his animal friends. One evening, as Jack was getting ready for bed, he heard a faint whisper coming from the meadow. He peeked out of his window and saw a beautiful fairy floating near the flowers. Jack rubbed his eyes, thinking he must be dreaming, but when he opened them again, the fairy was still there. "Come and join me," whispered the fairy. "I have a wonderful adventure to show you." Jack put on his slippers and quietly slipped out of the house. He tiptoed across the meadow, following the fairy as she danced through the flowers. They came to a beautiful pond, where the water sparkled like diamonds under the moonlight. "Jump in," said the fairy, "and let's go for a ride." Without hesitation, Jack jumped into the pond, and to his surprise, he found himself transformed into a tiny fish. The fairy giggled and jumped in after him, turning into a beautiful mermaid. Together, they swam through the pond, past schools of fish and colorful coral reefs. They explored underwater caves and discovered hidden treasure troves. Jack couldn't believe his eyes as he swam with the mermaid, feeling like he was in a magical dream. As they continued their underwater adventure, Jack and the mermaid came across a giant octopus, with 8 long arms and a grumpy face. The octopus didn't like visitors in his pond and started to chase them, waving its arms menacingly. The mermaid took Jack's hand and they swam as fast as they could, trying to escape the octopus's grasp. They weaved through the underwater maze, narrowly avoiding the octopus's arms, which were reaching out to grab them. Finally, they managed to outsmart the octopus and escape from the pond. They lay on the grassy bank, panting and giggling with excitement. "I have never had so much fun," exclaimed Jack. "You're a brave little fish," replied the mermaid. "I'm glad we escaped safely." As the night wore on, Jack started to feel tired. The mermaid noticed his droopy eyes and said, "It's time for you to go back now, my little friend. But don't worry, we'll have more adventures soon." With that, Jack felt himself lifted out of the water and back onto the meadow. He looked around, and the fairy and the pond were nowhere to be seen. As he walked back to his cottage, Jack felt a warm and fuzzy feeling inside. He knew he had just had the most amazing adventure of his life, and he was grateful for the chance to experience it. And so, Jack went to bed with a smile on his face, knowing that whenever he closed his eyes, he could relive his magical underwater adventure with the mermaid fairy. And he looked forward to many more adventures with his new friend.